What's going on, everybody? This is Manga Deep Dive, the place where the manga is analyzed and discussed. I'm your host, Mr. OP Squared, and if you're new to the channel, please do not forget to like and subscribe to get updated on all the latest content. This discussion will focus on one of the most controversial characters in modern-day manga, and that is Enji Todoroki, better known as the flame hero Endeavor. He is the perfect reflection of what the Hero Society has become, or was, in Kohei Horikoshi's My Hero Academia. Endeavor is a prideful and ambitious, to the point of obsession. He has only one goal, and that is to become the #1 hero. This obsession is the reason that he is the perfect personification of the Hero Society. A hero is a person that selflessly tries to help those in need without the expectation of reimbursement. The Hero Society has turned this into a profession, making it a public service, and one that is paid for cases that are provided and solved by the heroes. But the general aspect of helping others is the same. That notion has been bastardized. The public has switched its values from the hero that helps others because they are trying to do what is right, to one that is trying to gain fame and fortune. Not all heroes feel this way, but it is a general feel of the public to grandiose and turn heroes into celebrities. This turns the heroes into people that are looking out for their own selfish goals. Endeavor wants to become nothing more than the #1 hero, and he's willing to do almost anything to accomplish this task, trampling on anyone that would be in his way. He destroyed his relationship with his family and created a very cold reputation with the public, and totally lost focus on what it means to be a hero, all to have the anxiety and responsibility of the #1 hero thrust upon him after the retirement of All Might. At the beginning of the manga, he's aggressive and feared by the public, and understands this. Because of his personality, he could never overcome All Might as the #1 hero. There was too much involved. He had solved more cases than any other hero, but his personality was never viewed as something that was warm-hearted, and so he pushed people away. So instead of changing his self-image in the public eye, he decided to create a person to take on his ambition. So to do this, he enters into a court marriage to his wife, Rei, an ice user, and a court marriage is a very taboo act in the Hero Society. It is when a person marries someone else that has a quirk that complements their own. This can be done in one of two ways. The first is to combine two quirks that amplify the other. An example of this, even though it's not a quirk marriage, is Bakugo's parents. His mother has a quirk Glycerin, and his father has the quirk Acid Sweat. The combination between these quirks was able to make Bakugo's quirk Explosion, an amplified quirk, one built on top of the other, so that they were able to make a very, very powerful quirk. The second is to have two different quirks that can even one another out, such as Shoto Todoroki, Endeavor's son. His quirk is half cold and half hot, and is a combination of his father and his mother's quirk. What happens is the ice prevents the fire aspect of Todoroki from overheating, so he can expel a lot of heat or a lot of flames without his body hitting a critical temperature. And this is vice versa with his ice. His ice can be now expended in great quantities, and to prevent his body from freezing, he can warm his body up with his flames. And that is the whole purpose of a quirk marriage, is to gain these extraordinary quirks and to even out or expand upon another. He would then go on to have 4 children and abuse his family in various ways. To his oldest son, who was born with great firepower, more firepower than his own, but with Rei's constitution, he would work so hard that he ended up killing the poor child. When it came to his middle 2 children, he would neglect them, not valuing them because they could not help him take the #1 spot, because they weren't considered powerful enough. And finally, you have the youngest son, Shoto, and he would abuse him physically and mentally, placing him in a routine similar to his older brother, and force him to train day in and day out to become the #1 hero. His senseless need to be the #1 hero caused him to become blind to what he was doing to his own family, not even seeing them as any priority. This extended to his wife, Rei, who harms her youngest son because of the abuse that Endeavor showed, the mental abuse. She was essentially overcome by the horrendous deeds that Endeavor was doing to her family, causing great mental stress. And she actually dumps a boiling pot of water on Shoto, her youngest, because his face, one side compliments his father and one side compliments her, and she saw the side that looked like her husband, and in a moment of just a mental snap, she dumps boiling water on Shoto, giving him a great scar. And so this is just the perfect example of how the society discards anyone that is not their perspective of a hero, what a hero should be. The society places great stock and emphasis on heroes becoming popular and powerful rather than doing whatever they can to help those around them. They make them into celebrities, and whenever these celebrities don't reach this particular aspect in which they deem popular, they discard them. And then in that that act of discarding them, those heroes can turn into villains or have mental breakdowns of their own because they don't now reach the qualifications that society deems proper to be the top hero. So that's how Endeavor really embodies what it is to be a hero in the hero society, and how
the hero society is selfish. It is not something that is really focusing on what is the core of what being a hero is. A hero is someone that's supposed to be selflessly acting to help others, and the hero society is strayed away from that, focusing on popularity and vanity rather than the helping of innocence.
This brings us to the conversation of All Might's retirement. All Might was the shield that protected the people, but he was also the blindfold that caused the public the ability to stop focusing on the helping of others and grandirizing of pro-heroes. When he fought and used up the final embers of One for All against All for One, the blindfold was finally removed from the hero society, and it was tossed into a state of panic and unknowing. Endeavor became the focus of the public because he was the next person in line. He was the number 2 hero at the time, and the public was wondering if he would take up and become the symbol of peace. But there was a lot of doubt and scrutiny in placing him in this role. Could he take up the mantle? His personality was far from All Might's, and he had the reputation of taking things too far. But in this transition, Endeavor also gained clarity because he had self-doubt as well. He started to see the error of his ways, and he was not proud of what he had done to gain his position. This caused him to start and try to reconnect with his family. This also caused him to seek what it meant to be the number 1 hero. And all of this doubt and all of these things that he had believed in were all being dismantled after the defeat of All for One. He was unsure of himself as well as lacking direction in what to do next. And this is also true for the society as well. The people were losing faith in the heroes that had protected them, as well as seeing the error of their ways. They no longer could see heroes as celebrities. They now needed heroes to step up and fill in the gap that was All Might. And in doing this, they realized what they had done they had done in this hour of peace, in this time where they could be a part of what the heroes were supposed to be. And in doing this, they started placing heroes in positions where they could finally be able to do well. They were trying to find heroes to fill in those gaps and take away the anxiety and make them feel safe again. This finally brings us to the Pro Hero arc and the JP Hero Billboard chart. Heroes are officially ranked by taking into account several factors such as number of cases solved, general popularity, and level of social contribution. This is then calculated to rank each of the pro heroes. It serves as the true transition period for Endeavor and the hero society. It is the time that Endeavor has to face the public on a grand scale and exclaim that he will meet their expectations. But during this time, Hawks, the number 2 hero at the time, fans the flame of the public, stating that the only thing that matters are the public opinion polls. The reason for this is that the public needs faith in the hero that becomes number 1. And Endeavor comes in very low at about number 3. And for someone in this position as becoming number 1 hero, he needs to have the full support of the public. but it's Endeavor's statement that really helps to build the foundation of hope for the public. After the interruption that Hawks creates and really fanning those flames, all Endeavor needs to say is, "Watch me." It is simple, but it is what is needed. He will let his actions speak for themselves because words are no longer going to make the public feel safe. He needs to actively show them that he can protect them. And the opportunity to really stand out is the fight with the high-end Nomu after the polls. This is the first time that a Nomu is produced that has the ability of speech and to think for itself in some kind of way. It also has many extremely powerful cores and is obsessed with fighting only the strongest of opponents. What really makes this fight stand out are two factors. The first is seeing how Hawks perceives Endeavor. He understands that out of all the other heroes, Endeavor was the only one truly trying to overcome All Might. While many might have stated that they wanted to become number one, it was only Endeavor that was truly trying to bridge the gap between himself and All Might. It is a truly powerful scene because it shows that Hawks understands that Endeavor has to become the number one hero. He has to take up this mantle. No one can ever be the symbol of peace that All Might was. They can't be this over-encompassing hero of true power. But with the proper individual leading the rest of the heroes, they can all work together to create a society that no longer lives in fear. The second aspect that the fight reveals is how the Nomu is a mirror of what Endeavor could have become. Endeavor realizes that what he has done to gain power was wrong. He regretted hurting those around him to get where he was. This all occurred right after All Might's retirement. He had a lot of introspective growth. But the High-Nomu is what he could have become if he stayed on that path, a mindless creature that only obsesses over power and gaining what he wants. That is what these two things correlate to create. The Hero Society had the opportunity to truly see that Endeavor is going to fight for them and that he is going to place himself into a position where he is going to stand above all others while allowing those around him to help him. He accepted help from Hawks during his fight. He truly tried to put himself in the best position to protect all the civilians. And because of this, he truly shows that he can be the number one hero, that he can grow from this. And that's exactly how the Hero Society is. The Hero Society is the same position. They understand that they need to set aside their fears and that they need to grow. They can't be doing the same things that they did when All Might was the number one hero and the symbol of peace. They can no longer sit back and allow heroes to be selfish or themselves to create heroes that are selfish. And because of this, that's what this whole thing represents, and that's why Endeavor really represents what the Hero Society is. He is a complete reflection. He is what the Hero Society. He is the hero that perfectly reflects everything that the Hero Society is and what they can become. I thank you so much for listening all the way to the end. Please subscribe and send a like. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.